Hello, friends. I wish you good energy today, and I hope you manifest in the goodness of your heart desire. In the previous two episodes we talked about realms, okay? The realms of manifestation, how spiritual work works in different realms, and how you know the realm you belong. So, but on this very one, I want us to buttress on the plane. We have spiritual realms. Now we have planes. Okay. For this, we want to talk about plane. All the stages of planes they have in magical works or spiritual or magical works. We'll start from the list of them, which is the physical plane. Then until we get to the spiritual plane. So for this, we are talking about the physical plane now and what it entails in work. Spiritual plane of the work is the spiritual manifestation of a particular right or intention you want to materialize. In this physical plane involves elements you use like materials, physical materials you use to actualize an intention, which is like the herbs you use, the regalia you wear during a vocation or a spiritual or a work, the incense you burn, the elements you use like the stones, the herbs. So these are physical plane in the essence of magical workings. So these physical elements, like this is the alligator pepper, this is the bitter cola, okay. So these are physical plane, elements of the physical plane. Now I join this and this, okay, on the physical plane. I tie them. These two energies works powerful to ward off accidents, which is poison or any of such problems that can come. Now, when I add these two elements of the physical plane, because they are physical elements, you see, when I add these elements of this physical plane, now what comes again is the second stage of this plane, which is the mental plane. Now, the mental plane is I've added this. Now, I know the angel that takes charge of this. Now, next thing I do is the visualization process. Now, on this visualization process comes the mental plane. The mental plane is try to mentally construct these components to send them for a particular intention based on the knowledge you've learned, because in this mental plane there is a certainty of reality. You're trying to project this, sending it in a place you are, finding yourself in this pause, this warding off every witches around you. Now, if you tie this and put inside your car, it will wave out any kind of accident that might come to the person. So, on this very plane now, you are using your visualization mind to set this force in motion mentally. Okay, now, so this is an intention. In this mental plane is where you speak your intention. This could do many things, but somebody might take this for a particular purpose. This purpose is where you speak your intention into it. You want it to be warding off bad dreams because you want to put it freely under your pillow. It is for protection. But now, on the protection stage you want it to ward off bad spirit and bad dreams. Then you speak your intention. You've got the physical plane completed, which is the materials involved. Now you've got the mental plane, which is the visualization and the speaking out of intention. Okay, and when you speak out this intention, you then get to the emotional plane. The emotional plane is when you have tied this and you have kept it. The emotional plane has to do with your emotion, the feelings you start getting, because after a particular spiritual walk, or when you get something like this in your name, once it is come in your name, it will walk through the system of the body of the person it is to protect or to work for. Now when it's doing this, it's trying to get aligned with your body system. Now it will start affecting your emotion, because it can start feeling dizzy, drained, heavy, or any kind of emotional feelings you might get depending on the type of work or rite you have performed. So this works with the divine within you, channeling this energy that it works for you. That's why some spiritual works, when you do it for one person and two person and somebody else comes to take it, it's still working, but it will not work for the person, because the energy has been mentally channeled in the visualization level to work for the person, and the person's emotion, which is his feelings. Sometimes there's a kind of spiritual works you do, once the intention has been put in mentally or visualization into the physical plane, then the emotional one, sometimes you might feel sick for days. It's not the sick, it won't be just a normal sickness, but it is an energy, an emotional energy from that intention and the degree of the spirit energy in the work you have done. Then you talk about the emotional plane. So this is the bridge between thoughts, what you're thinking, and unseen energy. So emotion dictates your actions, thoughts, perception, and then creating spell that align with the emotional bridge. Okay, so this is a way that emotion comes. Sometimes people feel drained and say they will be feeling the emotional, that something is wrong, that the emotion is telling them something, okay, on a particular thing. That even when someone sends an attack to you, you will first of all, after it has gone through the highest stream of it, which is spiritual, then ethereal, in between the gap, then when it's manifesting to the emotional realm, you start feeling it, sickness, your sign, depending on how you read your body, some signs, some parts of your body starts showing some degree of signs. Okay, from these signs you will know, like, is someone sent an attack. Like for me, if on this emotional plane for myself, if someone sends a negative energy for me, there's a part of my body that start feeling it. Then I would then know that there's an energy that my system and my spirit is trying to fight or counteract with. Then what comes for me now is to look, to dig deeper, to look the mirror, to check every kind of vision I have to look, to know which angle this energy is coming from a man, a woman, is a kingdom, what, or I'll be able to know this before I can be able to focus and bring that energy to the physical plane and then deal with it. Okay, then you talk about the etheric plane. So this is a near manifestation energy. It links everything existence. This etheric realm is more like is almost related to the astral plane. Okay, this ether has to do with non-physical itself, such as aura. The ethereal, people can stay together and then they'll be exchanging auras, energies. Okay, like in a coven, when people are in a coven, they work with auras. Okay, this is etheric realm. They try to combine a two God. That's why the veil between the physical and non-physical. This is the ethereal plane, like astronomy, astronomical realm, like we said about the planetary realms. So this is where you get the elements of physical and the non-physical. When you say north, south, east, and west, you can look at the north, you can look at the south, you can look at the east, and you can look at the west. But at the same time, they are non-physical. So the ethereal realm will carry all the everything about etheric essence. This is the aura. You feel that you get to a nature, the aura of a leaf draws you. You say I felt a kind of vibration, or now I can see men around this very thing. Is an etheric plane that is trying to bridge the gap between the physical and then that's astral. So that is another part of this plane. We've talked about realms. Realms and planes are two different places. They are two different points. So now when you talk about plane, the astral plane is more of the tree of life. When you hear about the Kabbalistic tree of life, where you get to the foundation, which is the root, the malkot, then you can get to the sun, the Tiferet, depending on how you're going to Mars, Geburah, Gedula. So, as the rain, the tree of life is in the Kabbalistic cross. So, this is the astral plane. If you are a new initiate and you start doing evocation, there's a degree you reach, you start working with this astral plane, being like a god form. You're in your own sacred space. You are like a god form. Then you prophesy, you start doing evocation. You will pass from one stage to the other. It's more like you are climbing a step of a 30 decking story building. You don't just jump to the last floor. You climb these floors from first step to the second step to the third step. So on this very plane is where some people, they do all these mantras to balance the element of them. They might be singing a chant, making a mantra chant, so that they will balance the energy of a particular plane, a particular astral plane that is in inhibition or in detriment. So when they are doing this, it's more like the person is seeing himself as like a god form, and in this god form, you're climbing these astral planes. You will be encountering entities that are in charge of each of these three branches of tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life that is drawn. So this is what you happen, that's when you're working on astral plane. So when you're working on astral plane, is more like you're doing evocation, trying to communicate with an entity of a particular sphere or a particular realm. Okay, now you see where this realm comes into this astral plane. When you want to communicate with an entity of a realm, you have to practice astral projection, because you have to project yourself from this physical body you're seeing, which is like the vessel. Then the God form in you will move, and once it moves, a portal will open. This portal, the etheric portal, this is the veil between the physical and the spiritual. Once this portal is open, the veil is open, you cross. Once you cross, like a God form, you see yourself, either you see an angel or an entity carrying you, guiding you, okay, or depending on what you are working on. So this is the astral plane. So when you talk about the spiritual plane, which is the ultimate of faith, which is the ultimate plane of unity, what seals it, the source of all things, your destiny, your faith, your karma, ether, the spirit, which is divine himself. That's why when they say someone is spiritual, then this person have transcended all these planes you are seeing. He's living in the spiritual realm. He has manifested all this. He doesn't need to take time to practice this. He can even use his spiritual essence to conjure elements. Okay, some people will have to go and harvest elements physically, but when you are on this, you are like a magi, a witchcraft, a wizard, like they say, the council of the gray hairs, which it doesn't have age to belong. So on this very realm, some people might be going forth getting herbs to mix, to pound, to do this, but you can conjure these herbs because it's the spirit inside the herbs you are seeking for. You can conjure these herbs and their powers, and you stay right where you are, and you bring their energy and use them and conjure a work, and then you send it. You don't need to go and gather all this. You have passed this stage of the physical, mental, emotional, etheric, astral. Now, when you are on this very realm, you find out that manifestation becomes easy for you. The manifestation is because you've trained your mental plane, you've trained your emotional plane, which is things you don't make decision based on ruled by emotion. So when you're on this spiritual plane and something comes, you don't need to start gathering and going forth and going here and do this, unless the law comes that you must do a thing like this for this. But you can conjure all the formulas, all the elements from the physical plane and still channel it into that energy of the spiritual manifestation. That is where everything and nothing is simultaneous. Everything and nothing is simultaneous, which is you can manifest the highest potential of any spellcraft from this very plane. If you're living in this very plane, then blessed be you. Okay? And if you're sure and if you're still working to get to this very plane, I wish you a very good and bigger creation in the destiny that you seek. And you work that once you're on this plane, everything manifestation will change for you on all levels and all planes. Then you are a supernatural being. So I wish you good times, and I hope this does not confuse the realm and then the plane. So when you understand this, you know that spirituality is deep. Like I always say, let the law and tradition of Nde belong Kende or the Bende belong Keha. So you stay blessed for more coming your way. I'm a very good guy, spiritual Jude.